Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new review show on the Salmonator channel. Caulfield today, a lot to unpack. I'm recording this on the Saturday night, probably going to upload it on the Sunday. Let's get on with this new review show. So the first segment on this new review show is the track recap. How did Caulfield play? It was quite evident from early on in the card that you needed to have cover and you needed to be swooping down the middle of the track. If you had those two things combined, you're a pretty good chance of winning. And if there was a horse that ran well against these two things, that's one to be identified to follow to the future. Next we move on to the performance tier list. Now I don't pay for any sectional services, so this is a rating system completely built off my own back. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's the factors that I believe are good for determining how to sort of measure a race, if you know what I mean. So let's see the tier list. The highest rating performance I had on this card was Prancing Spirit, and that's not including the fact that it got held up, so it was a massive run by that horse. High rating races on this card I had as race 3 Grey Ice, race 2 Heart of Glass, race 7 Soft Love, and race 10 Rhinoceros. The races that I had rating okay, sort of a median score for the card, was Nicolini Vito, Torrenzino, Scenic Point, and Hughes. Poorly rating race was My Brother's Keeper's race, and an even poorer rating race was Statuario's race, the Galilee Series final. So let's take a look at that high performance rating of Prancing Spirit, the highest performance rating that I have on this Caulfield card. We're going to pick up the replay from about the 350. You can see that it's getting held up here. Heart of Glass, the eventual winner to its outside, has already trapped it in and already made its move. Sprinted a length and a half to 2 lengths clear of it at the 100 metre mark, and it's still nearly managed to win Prancing Spirit. Massive effort by the horse. If it gets clear running earlier, it runs a better number, and it clearly has the highest performance rating on this card. But because it got held up, it's only marginally got the best rating on this card. Gotta follow Prancing Spirit, but the market, I'm assuming it's going to be well found next start, considering it should have won against a progressive Heart of Glass today. Now we'll move on to the races that I had rating highly. So the highest rated winner I had on this card was actually Grey Ice in race number 3. Look, the favourite and heavily backed favourite for Waterhouse Spot, Just Glamorous, put a lot of speed into the race, which is going to help the overall standard time. They ended up running 1:35.56 in the official times. That is quick. Grey Ice was first up, and it was just simply the fittest of the horses that were first up today in this race. It didn't win like a 30-1 shot. It won like it was right in the market. Its 2 jump outs leading in finished last in its last jump out behind Just Folk and Midwest. Those are 2 good horses though. It was a horse that had the right run though. It was off the fence and swooping down the middle. Just Glamorous I thought was good, but went too fast in front for itself. Being first up, needed the run late. We're going to go back and revisit race 2. It is Heart of Glass's win. I wanted to speak more about Heart of Glass. Thought it was a perfectly timed run from Harry Coffey because he got going at the right time. The horse was under pressure from 500 out, and because I was on it, I was getting a little bit worried, but it picked up like that, to be honest, and it just arrived next to Prancing Spirit at the right time so that Prancing Spirit couldn't take that run, and Heart of Glass was already off and gone. It was a good ride from Harry Coffey. It was a good effort by the horse. Only just fell in, but I had it rating highly. Obviously, Prancing Spirit, highest rating of the card, but I still had Heart of Glass rating pretty highly, and I had it rating very highly off its first up run behind Tatsumaki, and it's produced another good effort again today. If you want to black book a horse out of the race, I'm probably not going to, but if you need to black book one, Barbaric Lad maybe stepping up to the 1400 metres, I reckon might be one to consider. Race 7 won by Soft Love was another high rating effort on my rating system. Now, although Soft Love had cover and it was swooping down the middle, which is where you needed to be today, it was still a very, very good win. It is a good horse, Soft Love. There was nothing of the Beaten Brigade that really stood out. Again, like the last race, if you need the black book one, Madrina was ridden upside down and was storming home late. I think settling on speed next start, if it draws a better gate, maybe consider backing it. But Soft Love, it's a good horse to follow. Obviously, it's going to be well identified by the market next start, but it was a really good effort from Soft Love. And the last of the high rating races I've got is Rhinoceros. Race 10, the track's as dry as a bone, so maybe this number is a little bit big for what it should be. However, Rhinoceros and Red Phantom Quinella the race, they sat first and third, so it was a real on-speed dominated race. We're going to get to the Blackbookers a bit later, but I thought Regal Asmon's run from the back was really good, and it's one to Blackbook heading into the future. But as I've said on numerous times already, because Regal Asmon has clearly run the fastest last 200 metres of this race, it's going to be really well identified by the market next start. All of these high rating races, I think we can follow into the future because they rated highly. I think they're likely to produce future winners out of these races. Now the races that didn't rate as highly on my system, don't have replays for them. There's only 2 of them. Race 6, My Brother's Keeper's race. I didn't have this race going too well. There was only a length between first and fourth. It was a real bunch finish. My Brother's Keeper was sort of loping along right down the middle of the track where he needed to be and only just fell in. I don't want to be with too many horses out of this race into the future. And also Statuario's race. It was a real sort of messy race. They went fast and they went slow. Fast early stages, then they slowed it down. Statuario got the perfect run and sprinted away was much too good for them out of the beaten brigade. Nothing really of significance, but there might be a sneaky one in the Blackbookers later. Moving on now to Ride of the Day, and in my opinion, it was Logan Bates in race 4 on Hughes. He rode this race to perfection, one of the best rides I've seen for a very long time. He jumps out better than midfield, and rather than, because he's 4 wide at this stage, rather than taking them all on, trying to cross and be outside the leader, he rethinks, he composes himself, and he drops in for the most perfect run, 3 wide with cover, behind the favourite, Pure Alpha, who stuck 3 wide no cover. Gave this horse an absolute peach of a ride, pulled out at the 400 metre mark, just at the right time, and in the end, the horse only just falls in. But a win's a win, I guess. I expected Hughes to go on with the job a bit more. It was a real on-speed dominated race. I'm pretty sure Pariah Pearl ran second. It was settling right on speed. Super Nima runs third, settling in the lead. So it was a real on-speed dominated race, and Hughes was just able to pick up the leaders late. Now moving on to the forgive file. These are all the horses I'm willing to forgive out of today's meeting. So the first one is Dollar Chaser out of race number 2. Didn't have much luck in the straight. Obviously Prancing Spirit out of that race, but we've already mentioned that horse enough times. Electric Bell was also, didn't have much luck in the straight. Georgie Get Mad drew gate 15 of 15 and was taken back. It was complete upside down run, given no hope, complete forgive. Certain Rise had cardiac arrhythmia and bled. So don't feel too good for that horse. It was a 25 length defeat. It was a forgive. Chewing Gum in race number 7 was held up. Had to go back to the inside. Should have finished closer. Wouldn't have won the race. Basilina out of race number 8. It was held up. Again, probably wouldn't have won, but should have finished closer. Another horse that had no luck in that race was Charisse, and Globe was 3 to 4 wide no cover the whole trip and is better suited over further. That's a forgive file. What a week to start the new review show, because I get to talk about how I went yesterday in terms of my unit plays, and I think it was 27.75 units on and 53.79 units returned. 7 winners from 11 races. That's probably never going to happen ever again, but I'll take it. Everything went right. Well, not everything, because not all of them won, but most things I wanted to go right went right. And a 26 unit profit from the day makes the overall profit look a lot better, a lot healthier. Onwards and upwards to next week. Black Booker time. I'm not going to make this an official Black Booker, but I thought it was just one to follow out of the lowest rating race on the card, in my opinion. I want you to keep your eye on Kicking King. It's got the dark blue right on the inside, battling away. This horse was reefing and tearing the first 300 metres of the race. should have cost itself a number of lengths, but managed to stick on, and through the line it was doing the best out of anything. I know this race is rated pretty low, but I think most horses going to contest next start are also going to be coming through races rated pretty low. If this horse goes to the VRC St Ledger on Anzac Day over 2,800 metres at Flemington, I'm going to be on. The way it ran through the line, it just needs to settle. If this horse settles, maybe they tamper with some gear, but if this horse can just settle in the first part of the race and produce the finish that it did today behind Statuario, it's almost a certainty to win the St Ledger, but that's the problem. It doesn't settle. So, Kicking King, one to follow into the St Ledger. Hopefully everything goes right. This is an official Black Booker. It comes through race 9, the Victoria Handicap. Sione, it's in the blue with the white star and the red cap. Now, when the sprint went on today, this horse lost a couple of lengths. Horsed up the front, really scooted away, but very late in the piece, it was making ground, and through the line, it was doing the best work out of anything. Didn't run the fastest last 200 metres of the race or anything close to it, so I think it's going to be a bit hidden by the market next start. I'd be willing to back this horse next start if it drops to mare's grade. I think if it goes to mare's grade of whatever grade it is, just as long as it's mare's, I'd be happy to be on it, because the way it ran today first up really encouraged me against the boys. So yeah, one to follow, Sione. The last segment on this review show is Stars of the Week, pretty much where I go through my top 3 rated performances that I've rated on my rating system throughout the week's racing here in Victoria. So we'll start back on Monday at Yarra Valley. Grinzinger Moon, this horse has won 3 times in a row now. I had its first 2 wins going absolutely enormous. It's won 3 from 3 this preparation, come back a completely different horse. I've had the 2 first and second up runs, as I've already said, going enormous. This run has also gone enormous, top 3 for the week in my rating system. This horse can go to metro level and be very competitive. I think an ideal race for it would be on a Wednesday at Sandown, maybe something like a Fillies and Mares 64 over 1,300 metres on Lakeside. Don't know if there's a race of that grade coming up for it, but something like that in that vicinity, I think we can follow Grinzinger Moon. On Wednesday at Ballarat, I had Jahangir going very well. This horse in race 2, a maiden, settled outside the leader and did the rest, winning by 2.5 lengths. This horse is trained by Anthony and Sam Friedman. Had its debut run at Warrnambool, where it started a decent SP, but it settled 3 wide no cover, so it was a forget run. It's a 3-year-old gelding by I Am Invincible, has some really good early speed. Over 1,000 metres, so if it can find maybe a benchmark 64 next start over the 1,000 metres or something like that, I'll be happy to be on. Or just wherever it goes next. Maybe as long as it's not a Saturday, because they're up against pretty good horses. And I actually had this race today at Kilmore going very well. Won by Tactful. It was a distance race over the 2,000 metres. It was only a 0 to 58, so how much can we trust this? I'm not even too sure, but I had Tactful going really well. I look back through this horse's form, and this horse was only beaten 4 lengths by She's a Hustler 3 starts ago, and was only beaten 5 lengths by Chanois 5 starts ago. If I'd have known that, if I had looked at the Kilmore form, I probably would have backed it. It SP'd 850 today and did the rest. From a 0 to 58 over 2,000 metres, where does it go next? I think if it can find something, maybe a benchmark 58, 2,400 metres at Mornington, its home track, I think that's where we back it next. I think now it steps up to benchmark 58 level from 0 to 58 level. 2,000 metres or above is a plus. I'd be following Tactful and maybe the second place getter out of that race. Thanks everyone for watching my new review show. This is sort of a little poster recap of all the different segments. I want to add Regal Asmond to the Blackbookers in race 10. My only problem with it is that it's going to start well unders than probably what it should next start, considering it clearly ran the fastest last 200 metres of that race. But I'm more than happy to follow Sione, and I want to follow Kicking King into the VRC St Ledger. So that's the review show, first episode of this new review show for this week. If you guys have any suggestions of new comments, if you guys have any new comments of suggestions for the show, then please let me know in the comments below. Thanks everyone again for watching, and until next video, bye for now.